Hello everybody, today we want to have a look at the Canon 8-15mm f4L fisheye lens. As you can expect from a fisheye lens, as this one, totally zoomed out, it will give you a total round image. Other than expected is the fact that it doesn't matter if you're shooting with an aps-c size sensor or a full frame sensor. The difference will be that you have more space around the ball-shaped image on the full frame sensor. Thus it will be more like a floating sphere actually. Honestly, I will never get what is appealing on this kind of photographs, but that's probably me. However, it can also raise the question, is there a possibility that this lens can be interesting for me or people who think like me? Anyway, I come back to this in a minute when we have a look at some images. It's not surprising that this lens is utterly sharp. Not surprising because it's ultra wide angle and nonetheless it's an L lens from Canon. And the optics consist 14 elements in 11 groups. Different dispersion glass, I come back on that in a future shorty. And of course anti-reflection coating. There's also fluorine coating on the front and the rear glass of the lens, what makes it much easier to clean up. The closest focus distance of this lens is just 15 centimeters. What makes it pretty amazing in my opinion. There are 7 aperture blades, and even though you don't really go for the bokeh with this kind of lenses, it would make it quite round anyway. The smallest aperture is f22, just for the record. Widest of course f4, as the name of the lens says, with a nearly 543 grams. It's not that heavy, especially not if you're really used to the 70-200 2.8 plus some other standard glass in your camera bag. A small lens hood, what helps protecting the front element, what is very with 180 degree is of course very prominent in the front of the lens. And it really needs to be saved, so you will get a small lens hood for this. And this is included just like a SAG and usually lens caps for the front and the gear. So let's have a look at some imagery. I will also put a link into the description of this video. So in the first image over at 500px.com we see from LD deck film, you see really here with the Buddha figure. It's shot with the Canon EOS 60D aps-c size sensor at a focal length of 10mm, and you really see that this 90 degree, what normally would be a 90 degree hook here on the street, really is taken into, I guess, something above the 100, 120. I can't tell, but the streets that you see here should be in a right hook to each other. While the center here, the Buddha, doesn't really looks very distorted. So the next one is from Gear Lenswork in California. Is this taken San Francisco, and he did a quite nice job here on a Canon EOS 5D Mark III at the widest, the 50mm focal length, not the widest, of course, the closest. He did a long exposure of 30 seconds here at f16, and I think it combines all the good things that this lens could bring, and this is something that would make sense for me. It's not totally round, it's probably cropped and away in post-process, and I can't tell, of course, for sure, but it's a very interesting, yeah, it's a very interesting shot, by the way. We go to an image of landscape of Ron Harris, what is corrected in camera raw with the lens profile. Quite a nice landscape here, and yes, very interesting, as I guess it's shot at 15 50mm as well with this lens. It's shot, by the way, no, it's at 14mm, so 1mm left, at 11, at f11, and don't want to go into detail about exposure compensation and so forth. He has another one, Ron Harris, also shot with the same. He doesn't give any information away about the settings here. In this case, it's shot with the 5D Mark II. Anyway, I guess it's also 14 or 50mm, and I think I see use of this lens when you do real estate photography, because if you are in small rooms, you get a lot of in the frame, and you can always reduce the distortion in post-process. And at last we come to Toby Harriman, also over here at 500 px. The Foggy City it is called. It's also shot with the 18-50. It's at 11mm on an aps-c side sensor. It's a Canon EOS 7D, and a nice wide angle shots here from the city, and I also guess that it's with the lens profile corrected in post-process. So if you want to have a closer look to the images and to what these photographers have to offer, feel free to have a look over at 500px.com. I put a link to the imagery in the description of this video. So for now, I thank you very much for watching. Have a great day ahead, happy shooting, and goodbye.